Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies this week and how to best navigate them with today's Monday's Musings on the 8th of December 2025. It feels very important that we solidify and get firm foundation in what it is we are here to do, and I say this pretty much every week. But these last few weeks of December are going to really hit home with that. Over I would say the last week or so, definitely the last few days, there has been an uneasy discombobulation in the air, a mix-up of what situations may need ending and what situations merely just need a stronger approach to them, a more truthful approach to them. Now, I'm not here to say what is real, what is right and what is wrong, just to encourage you to find your own version of that, your own version of your own truth this week is going to be key. For those that do watch regular videos, you'll notice that I'm not wearing my glasses this week. There's something I've been advised to that I needed in order to improve my vision. However, the truth be known, it doesn't. They're not actually any different with my glasses off or on. And for a long time I felt as if I didn't know my own body enough to go beyond the guidance that was given. Now, I'm not suggesting that you take your own views of something above the professionals, but I am inviting you this week to recognize who knows you more than anybody: yourself. And that's the solid, firm foundation we are being asked to build upon. It's hard. There are going to be things in the next few weeks. You know, the theme tune for the new moon at the end of the month is The Dark Horse by Katy Perry, not only because we're going into the year of the horse, but because shadow aspects are going to rise pre-solstice, pre-new moon. What happens when we have extra light come in, not just spiritually, but in life itself? We form shadows and we can see our shadows. Rather interesting. That's the other thing this week. I've really felt that there's been an energy behind almost making endings happen because it's too uncomfortable to sit in the in-between, making those shadows appear even when they're not actually there. The last few weeks of this month, we would be really encouraged to pause, to feel into where we are before we make any knee-jerk reactions, to recognize the energy that we have behind it or lack of. An example. Last few days I definitely felt like I think next year is going to be completely different for me, and it could very well be, but in that there was a reaction of things that I felt I needed to walk away from. The truth of it at the moment is my body is tired. It needs time out to heal. I've just been put on iron and folate from the doctors and recognised that there are areas in my own life that need attention. The reason being because I'm repeating certain things. No matter how I choose to look at it, no matter how I am being guided to see things differently, the crutch of the matter is, yeah, these situations are being repeated just in a different way. And that's the invitation this week. We have one cat running up. That's the invitation this week to get real, to see things for what they actually are. They don't need magnifying, they don't need altering, they just need to be seen. Ourselves included. On that note, I'm not going to tap into too much of the collective because unless we know where we are, there really is no point. I cannot stress this enough. I have said this in many videos. If you do not know where you are, any information coming in, like the noise behind me, is going to get louder and continue to influence your own response to that. This week, take time to rebuild the foundation of your own energy, your own emotions, and how you choose to then navigate that, how you choose, to communicate that. As we go into next year, the year of the magician, the year of the fool, the year of the inner child, the year of the sun, the year of the light, the year of the light, we are going to be shown many ways. There's a lot of information out there at the moment, many ways to look at how we perceive that and how we work with that. First and foremost, what does light mean to us? What is our own light? Unless we can understand our own light, any other light will merely bring up shadows of our own essence. And it's that that's going to be illuminated over the next few weeks. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about our shadow self? I know for me, my shadow self is very sovereign. I hate to admit it. My shadow self is very confident. My shadow self is very driven and clear and ambitious and strong and very sharp, very cutting, very to the point, very masculine. Play with that this week. So for me, I put on music and I can really embody that energy quite well. I don't mind when I have something to do with it, when I can create with it. So it's not about getting rid of our shadows this week, but creating with them in a playful way. Oh, that's going to put the cat amongst the pigeons, isn't it? Playing with our shadows, actually working with our shadows, yes. There for a long time has been the separation of good magic, bad magic, white magic, dark magic, light and the dark, higher vibrations, lower vibrations. We are one and the same. We are all of these. And unless we can choose to embody that and give each a platform, we are always going to be working with half of our potential. And that's the truth that could be uncomfortable over the next few weeks, that may come up in the form of repetition in relationships, in what we create, in how we feel about ourselves, and the impact that this continuous, I'm going to say almost continuous unnecessary cycle is having on our physical results, be that body, money, direction, connection, whatever you want to call it. It's time to get real and look at what we're actually avoiding underneath not initiating the change. And I feel that in my higher heart, and I feel my own resistance because it feels harsh. It isn't, it's tough love. No, it's not tough love, it's love. It's compassion. It's not pandering to the outdated views that we have of ourselves and each other and the world we create. I'm a big fan of I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. Well, actually, I'm not a big fan. I watch it because my husband watches it, but I watch I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. Interesting. Be aware of what you're actually into and what you're just doing because everyone else does it this week. But I watched last night's, and big shout out to Angry Ginge, who won, but also big shout out to all the people that were in it. But Tom, I love Tom, and I love Tom because of how he speaks. I love Tom because of how genuinely he appears to be infatuated with life and with communication and with words and language and their power. And really last night feeling into 2026 being about the magician, which is also Mercury and communication, but also being about the wheel of fortune and change, and my own knowing that those that put in the effort, for some for the first time in their life next year, will bring forth results. I really wondered who was going to win last night. Those that know me know that I see these kind of things as a reflection of where we are globally, collectively. Nothing is, not linked. And actually Ginge won last night, which sung to my soul because, here is a normal person, a quote unquote normal person who has put in the effort, who has streamed, games from his home and become famous as a result. That bridge, that wall even, between classes, whether that's financial or physical or spiritual or how we achieve something, appears to be disintegrating quite rapidly, and that is causing a reaction in a lot of people, because it's almost like people that have known their place, myself included, have known their place, are being guided to explore other avenues. How willing are other people to embrace that? Well, that is to be seen. And that's why it comes back to the foundation we have within ourselves. But the other thing that I noticed yesterday was Tom's beautiful way of, quite rightfully so, suggesting that in his opinion, Ginge should have been the winner anyway, before the decision was even made. And what I'm getting at here is genuine communication, genuine observation and witnessing, genuine heartfelt connection can observe and speak out for the journey, can give credit where credit is due. And that this week is what we're going to come up against. Now, yes, it can be frustrating externally, but the truth of the matter is it matters internally, whether or not we give ourselves credit, whether or not we can have the compassion to say, I have learnt this, I have done this, and actually, even if it's difficult to walk away from a situation or trust ourselves over a situation, to have that strength to not put ourselves through it again, to say, actually, I am done with this. It doesn't mean we always end up terminating something or closing something down. It could mean that actually the relationships or situations we find ourselves in have room to grow from our own perception. Which brings me full circle. Trusting what we see, no matter how harsh, painful, beautiful, abundant, conflicting it may be. Trusting what we see for the recognition of it being where we see ourselves, where we find ourselves. Like I say, I'm not wearing my glasses because I don't feel as if I need them. I'm not suggesting people go above and beyond professional advice, but I am inviting you all this week, or the invitation this week for us all, is to really look at where we have taken guidance from others above our own knowing, this video included. So on that note, I'm going to look into the energies this week and how to best navigate them. I'm going to go back to using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. Many reasons. They're easy to handle. They fit in a nice, neat, compartmentalized box, if you will, which feels quite important not to get too caught up. You know, we are in Sagittarius season and there's been a lot out there about recognizing what we're aiming for and what we're going after, without the understanding underneath it all. Sagittarius is the centaur that has been into the depths of the underworld. Chiron, if you will, the wounded healer that has come back up. Things are different. This isn't just about what we're aiming for. This is about who we now are in the things that we aim for. And any conflict with that, any reaction to that, is because we haven't quite seen where we have changed. And if we don't get our heads around that next year, we are the cross, we are the Southern Cross, we are the cross in the medicine wheel, we are the very thing in the Wheel of Fortune that's going to decide what goes up, what goes down, and what cycles we will continue to create and repeat. We have to acknowledge where we're at. That could be the very thing that shifts our whole perspective this week. How willing are we to let in the light of ourselves? That's my cat, probably tearing up the front room. Okay, so yes, I'm going back to the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. I'm going back to basics. If in doubt this week, back to basics. Chop wood, carry water. I haven't said that phrase in a while. Chop wood, carry water. Am I eating enough? Am I drinking enough? I saw the most incredible article today, which really hit home. It's not something that I don't know, but in between all of these health concerns, my muscles are really aching, but I also haven't drunk enough water. And I saw this post today of the fascia, the muscles and all the cells and everything of the body when it's dehydrated, and how restricted and constrained that can be on the body. This is basics. This is basics. Just felt something huge coming in. Back to basics. Take that time. Drink water. Get out in nature. In particular this time of year, it can be really tempting to stay indoors because it's cold and it's windy. Wrap up warm. Get out in nature. You know, our ancestors, there's one kitten, our ancestors wouldn't have had the luxury of staying indoors with central heating just because it was cold. And the rate of depression and things like that probably wouldn't have been as high either, because they're out in the elements. There's no good being in things that are comfortable and just comfortable. There's, you know, we're not going to learn anything by remaining in things that are nice all the time. The heat, the sun, you know, we strengthen ourselves by facing all elements, our own included. Which is why I found it so beautiful that Angry Ginge, I'm a celebrity. I don't even know why he's called Angry Ginge, to be honest, but that celebration of an emotion that is normally seen as quite taboo, and especially in the spiritual community, you know, trying to placate these emotions. Actually, that's not what won in the end. That's, yeah, we really need to learn how to embrace those sides of us a bit more into next year, because they are just energy. They are just elements and energy. Okay, speaking of which, energies this week and how to best navigate it. Navigate them. Okay, so there's going to be one riding energy this week. And that's going to be different for everyone. And you may find that it comes up with your wounds. There's been a particular energy coming up for me ancestrally, actually, the last few days. And feeling into that, individually feeling into that. What's underneath all of these cycles? What one core thing is rising for you to truly see? I was going to say look at from a different perspective, but it's not. It feels like we've gone round and round and round in circles and looked at things from so many different perspectives. And what? How are we going to change the game? You know, we have the 12-12, no, yes, the 12-12 portal, and then we have the solstice. But the 12-12 portal feels incredibly linked to the Mayan calendar. I've written about this in all of the blogs, to the Mayan calendar and the world being turned upside down. And from that, think the Hanged Man. We've managed to see a lot of things from different perspectives, you know, and we've learned a lot about ourselves. But we're coming to a point where that is going to be turned up a completely different way. As we go into the 10-year, things are going to be turned in opposition. Okay, so what have we gained? What can we learn from it? What can we take forward? Well, we have the King of Wands underneath, and I really feel that at the moment, the more masculine energy coming through. Of course, we have the solstice, we have the return of the light, we have the return of the masculine light energy. But with that, of course, we're going to get the shadow of masculinity as well. So looking at our actions, whether or not they're intuitively led, whether or not here we have the salamander, whether or not they're just adapted to our circumstances. And that's where I feel a bit of a headache coming in. Is it new energy? Yes, it is. Say what you first feel. It's a new energy trying to come in, and there's a resistance to that collectively. Ironically, it can be the very thing that we want, but it's almost as if it's been wanted for so long that actually we've kind of barricaded ourselves up against that. Okay, so let's have a look. I feel that in the higher heart. Monday, Tuesday, wow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Goodness me. Overall, a very, very magical week, a very, very intense week as well, if we can ride it out. And the key to that is balance. We have almost a whole week of major arcanas. I haven't seen that for a while. We literally have 4 cards out of them all that aren't major arcanas. On the Monday, we have the Sun card. Excuse me. Pause on the Monday. Sit with what feels right. Sit with what feels aligned and what brings you alive on the Monday. Sit with those that do that also. Recognize how important that's going to be as we go into the year of the horse. People seem to forget that on the horse in the tarot, not only is it the same horse that the death card rides, okay, so knowing that those endings and those completions bring forth a new beginning with them, but recognizing that that darkness also brings forth a light that needs to be seen, which is the inner child. I'm reading an incredible book. I'll put details in the comments because I can't remember the name and the authors. But it's about the 13 moons. And at the moment, the moon for November was linked to the little spirit, to the inner child within us, to that Tom in the I'm a Celebrity, that awe with life, the infatuation with communication and words, and the essence of experiencing things and how magical that can be. Do we have that? On the Monday, take stock, pause. Before you make any decisions, recognize the foundation you are making them from. Is there anything else on that? It doesn't feel like it needs to be overcomplicated. And if anything, it's the overcomplicating of things, which is what I said in the last week's video, that is taking the joy from life. I'm being shown when I would have first started reading tarot and things like that, and how just saying one thing that related to that card was awe-inspiring. Go back to what you do. Find the spark in that. Find the love and the joy in that. Go back to when you first started to do it. Does it still hold that magic? What has changed? Whether that's a relationship or a career or a view of the world, how can you bring that back? On the Tuesday, we have the Star card, and it's almost like I want to jump ahead to the Wednesday, which is the Fool, which is a new journey, a new beginning, but actually being with the vision on the Tuesday. What would that new beginning look like? This is where I can see people writing out Santa lists from their childhood that they didn't get when they were kids. All those things you didn't get when you were a child. Feeling into that. What would you have asked for in your childhood, and what was really behind that? Have you got that now as a solid foundation before you ask for other things to come in? Recognize the things that you may have been asking for are so linked to that. There is a refining to be done with our visions on the Tuesday. There is a need to recognize and realize and appreciate actually how many of the things that we ask for or try to manifest are merely opportunities to learn about ourselves. Have we learned about ourselves? If so, do we still need those things in the way that we thought that we did? On the Wednesday, we have the Fool card, and it feels as if Wednesday avoiding the temptation to overcomplicate things. Wednesday being with the freedom. I can see the some gypsy dharma boots actually that I think I want. Why do I want them? Well, they're very wild, right? So feeling into why do we want things? What is really behind that? On the Wednesday, there's an opportunity to feel the sun on our back, the wind in our face, to be at one with our elements, to be in our element with ourself. On the Thursday, that brings doubt. I can feel it right in my womb chakra. It brings doubt. Have I given enough? Have I achieved enough? Do I deserve that? Recognizing on the Thursday, any of our doubts come from a place of worth or lack of. And this is where I can feel the King of Wands coming in now. It's almost as if there's two parallel timelines here of a wounded masculine and the healed masculine. Now, it's not about which path we're going to take because they're interwoven, but how can we bring them together? So when we have those wobbles, have I done enough? Have I deserved this? Is this good enough? Pause, be with that, have compassion with that. What do I actually need? It might be you need some more sleep and you're tired. You feel overstretched. It might be that you need nature. It might be that you need to surround yourself with people that reflect back what you have done. It might be that you need to write a list of what you have achieved and how far you've come, and that you might need to keep doing that. Having this compassionate communication with yourself continually to restore that balance. Provided you can do that, or we can do that collectively on the Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have a new physical beginning in the Page of Pentacles. So all of these opportunities to connect to our inner child, to see our vision from a different perspective and take different steps around that, come into our responsibility midweek on a physical level. How do we restore the balance? Can we recognize that in restoring the balance, that's how we start something new? This isn't about acting from a place of low worth. This isn't about being overly confident and overcompensating. This is about being grounded, centered, and in alignment with where we are. Whether we like that or not, there's no point trying to fake it until we make it. This is where we are. Okay, so me with the health thing, there's no point me trying to get more work in until I get this sorted. Recognizing your foundation, recognizing how strong it is and what work needs to be done there if you want to bring this vision in. On the Saturday, we then have the Judgment card. This is what it's all about. No matter how it may seem, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how triggering, glimmering, whatever word you want to use, is an opportunity to rise up now from something that hasn't kept us or sustained us long enough. You know, something that hasn't give us the essence of life, that hasn't brought us this joy, that hasn't helped us connect to our fullest potential. All of this is an opportunity to say, get up. Get up. Listen to your body that says it wants that routine, you know, that house routine. Get up. Listen to your soul that says, actually, this circle of people or this situation or these quote unquote lessons I find myself in aren't doing it for me. Hear the calling from within you. Find that communication with yourself and the world that makes you want to look like Tom does at everybody, so desperately in love with life itself. On the Sunday, we have the Magician card. From that point of view, you are expansive. From that point of view, whatever you channel through will create from where you are, and recognizing that that is what we need to get our heads around next year. This isn't about cause and effect. Well, it is. That's like a dip of the toe in temperance. Okay, that's like where we've been all this time, dipping our toe in the reality of karma and in the reality of law of manifestation and cause and effect. This isn't about that anymore. There's no dipping our toe. It is coming down through us as part of the process. And in repeating things, particularly those things that we know we don't need to anymore, we are holding up progress. It's as simple as that. And that can be the cold, hard truth this week that we need to get to the Nine of Cups overall. Or the Nine of Cups overall can give us that cold, hard truth. Does it sustain us? Does it bring us joy? Is it materialistic? I've got all of these achievements and this is what I want, but actually I'm closed off to life itself. Am I part of what I'm creating? Do I feel involved? Do I feel connected? Do I feel as if I'm reaching my fullest potential, not just on a soul level? Let's not get it twisted here. Yes, we are here to create a soul mission, to, you know, purpose, whatever name you want to call it, but we're also human. So not just am I filling my potential on a soul level, but on a human level. Is my body cared for? Am I nurtured? Am I able to create the vision that I want to be able to create? Am I constantly bombarding myself because I can't? Am I surrounding myself with people in the same situation? Am I adding to the light? Am I adding to the shadow? Chances are all of it. But recognize that. Recognize that. Take back. It's not control. Take back unity. Take back the acknowledgement that actually there are just almost as many major arcanas here as there are minor arcanas. For every action, there is a reaction. That's beautiful. That's incredible. That really shows us how connected we all are. That is a wonderful permission and invitation to stand in that, to unite in that. Okay. A little bit of passion there. So we had, and did you notice how straight away I'm joking off my own passion, straight away I'm downplaying my own reactions? We all do it. We all do it. There literally is no judgment here from me. There is from the tarot. The judgment card is there. There is no judgment there from me. We all do it. Recognize where you do it. Recognize where it's a flippant joke, and recognize where it's having quite a subconscious detrimental effect on you. My shadow would be the King of Wands that's passionate, that calls me out, that calls out other people, that says, let's unite, let's do this, let's change the fucking world. And of course, yeah, that will glimmer me and I will joke that off. So being aware of that this week. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcanas. The turning points come from the fates. The more we can feel into our light, the more we can connect to the joy of something, the easier the vision is going to be. The more expansive the journey is going to be. The less harsh the judgments needed to call us out. And the more joyful the magic and the creativity as a result. But that is going to take balance. that it's going to take physical balance between, well, physics and our physical self and our spiritual self, our light, our dark, our masculine, our feminine, the past, the future. All of these things are in our hands, and it's going to take balance of that. How does that balance come about? Simply, and I will say simply, gratitude, not smugness. There's a difference. Genuine, heartfelt, expansive gratitude. And if you can't feel that, find it. Reignite the spark. Find the passion in your actions. That may mean looking back and seeing how far that you've come. That may mean looking forward and recognizing the areas that may be lacking and your responsibility in that to create something different. Find the spark. Okay, is there anything else? We have 2 pentacle cards, 1 cup card and 1 wand card. It felt quite important to really look at the elements at play this week. So the balance comes in our physical. Okay, so really taking care of our body, knowing that if something is hard to keep ignited, first and foremost come back to the energy that we have, that is, or we believe is being expected of us, and ensuring that that is being returned. Really, really important as we go into next year, to ensure that there is reciprocity in relationships, in careers, in spirit and connection, in abundance. 1 cup card, the 9 of Cups. If we want the wish, become the wish. Cliche as it sounds, and we're going to get frustrated with cliches, and the reason we're going to get frustrated with them is because we don't believe them anymore, and the reason we don't believe them is because we don't believe in ourselves within them. So really focusing on that this week. Where have cliches become mere lip service? That's not deep communication, that's not deep connection, and for many it won't be enough to spark that. It's okay. It's okay to recognize that we may need more to keep something lit, to keep that flame alive. We may need more to keep ourselves going through these winter months. The question is, what is it we need more of? Or even who? I'm going to leave it there actually. You know where I am. Take care.